or callers of this show do not necessarily reflect those of the staff or management of Radio Hotties. The content broadcast on this show is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only.
जब हमारे परिवार के बुजुर्गों की सेहत और देखभाल की बात होती है तो घर पर इन होम केयर वाला ऑप्शन सबसे बढ़िया है। अनलॉक का पेस प्रोग्राम एक ऐसा कन्वीनियंट एंड पर्सनलाइज्ड ऑप्शन है जिसके जरिए हमारे बुजुर्ग घर पर हमारे साथ रहकर यही देखभाल और सेवा का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। अब चाहे वो घर पर रहे या अनलॉक वाले पेस सेंटर में आए, उनको वही डेडिकेटेड एंड प्रोफेशनल केयर मिलेगी। अनलॉक ने बुजुर्गों की सेहत को अपना प्रायोरिटी बना लिया है। और जानने के लिए 1855-308-0195 पे कॉल करें। That's 1855-308-0195. After months of screen time and no play dates, the Children's Discovery Museum is open for Purple Play Days of Summer. It's time to rediscover the wonder. Climb on the fire engine, splash around in the waterworks, blow bubbles, and scale the tree climber in Bill's backyard. Oodles of hands-on arts and culture, STEM, health, and nature-themed exhibits await your family. The Giant Purple Museum is open every day, Wednesday through Sunday. Reservations are required at cdm.org. That's cdm.org.
Top of the morning, Bay, with Good Morning Bay.
Get to know about the traffic on your way and what's news around the world today.
Some wisdom skills along the way.
Oh, and a song to hum along with and sway.
Get your perfect entertaining start to the day.
At 9 a.m. every weekday morning with
Mahima's Good Morning
Bay.
Good morning, Bay. आप सभी लोग हमारी तरफ से एक प्यार भरा नमस्ते।
नमस्कार।
वनकम।
नमस्कार।
खुशामदी।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम।
सत श्री अकाल।
मी गंदरकी वंदनमु।
जय स्वामीनारायण।
जय श्री कृष्णा।
जय जनेंद्र।
हमारे इस्माइली भाई बंधुओं को बोलते या अली मदद।
मोला अली मदद बोलते हैं सारे फीजे मतलब बलगनी सामुला बनजान। हम आ गए हैं आपके प्यारे महिमा के द्वारे। मैसेफ फालतू बाबा
एंड ऑफ कोर्स माय सेल्फ फालतू रानी लेकर आपके लिए एक और ड्राइव टाइम दैट्स गोइंग टू बी टोटली एक्साइटिंग एंड टोटली मस्तानी बंदजानी।
यकीन नहीं हो रहा बंदजान? रुक के थोड़ा बहुत सुन के जाओ, ऑटोमेटिकली आपको पता चल जाएगा कैसे आपका दिन जो है टेरिफिक बन सकती है। आज ऑफ कोर्स ट्यूसडे बंदजान, ऑफ कोर्स वी बीन द होल न्यूज़ plastered around what's happening in Taliban, and I always had something in the corner of my mind that something is going to be different this time around Taliban because they have learned from their mistakes. What's very positive, Baranjan, is the fact that they actually have invited women participation in their government.
Oh.
Is that a positive step, Valdrani? I would say it's a positive step.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And they're actually saying that they committed to the rights of women within the framework of Sharia.
No, they actually
what
have
is
announced.
That supposed to
they have announced. Hey, by the way, first of all, people who don't know about it, what Sharia law is, you should understand. Read more about the culture. Read more. Why I say I don't call it a religion because religion is a way of life for me, and way of life is culture to me, according to me at least.
Yeah.
Right? And I think you should understand one thing. There is every religion has a underlying message, right? It's not any different. But I think we just fight over morals and issues and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Sharia actually is trying to get that based on their religious beliefs, their culture. They're trying to implement that. But the thing is, what's positive, which people thought like, oh, they're barbaric and all. No, they actually have announced amnesty. Do you know that?
What?
They announced amnesty. When a government or organization, not organization, actually a group, right, political group like that of Taliban. Taliban is not a government, by the way. It is a political group, as you guys know.
Right.
They're still forming a government right now. So they want to form a government. But what they're doing is they have offered amnesty. They have actually promised amnesty to many people, as in they're saying that they're going to be providing pardon to many groups. So like the thing of, what you're hearing in the news. So, see, Western media always tries to blow things up because they want to show that they actually are getting the news across to people, right? I agree with you a little bit of what they're doing. It's very important to actually spread the news around, but they're trying to provide. They don't know because right now many people are calling and say, "Oh, I actually worked for America, so I'll be prosecuted." All those things are being spread right now, and I like the fact that suddenly the Taliban group has actually started saying that they're going to offer amnesty to people, and now they changed the whole wording to say that now we're going to have women come because Badajan is a huge thing to have women in power. When they started saying that women cannot go out on the streets without a man with them, there might have been multiple reasons why I said that also. But the point is, I know it's a good thing. Okay, now I'm not going to... This is my view, Barjan. You want the news, will come to you. Pehla mera views hoga, baad mein news hoga. First and foremost, what I view is the traffic on the roads. So here you go, Barjan. रास्ते का हाल आप सभी लोगों को हम लोग देते हैं सस्ते में.
It's time for the Bandu traffic update. Call us from wherever you are at 408-912-2479.
Well, Banjan, there is a severe traffic. In fact, an accident with collision and injuries, Banjan, on CA24 westbound at the Pleasant Hill Road in Lafayette area. Banjan, why I talked about it is because the Concord area, the whole traffic is backed up all the way to Pleasant Hill, all the way on to pretty much the 4, that exit, Banjan. It's like, a huge backlog over there of traffic. Now, is it because of the accident? Not exactly, because the accident talked about is somewhere down near the Lafayette. It's 24. If you remember, it's actually up towards East Bay, Banujam. But again, apart from that, if I'm looking at, there's no much of traffic incidents to report for you guys in accidents or whatever. Either udhar congestion chal rahi hai, but again, it's not that bad. 101 is still moving smooth, and so is 880, 680, 237, and 280, Banujam. So you're actually going to have a pleasant trip to wherever you're going, whether you're going towards North San Francisco or whether you're going to the office or whatever. Because we also got news that many companies still having the employees choose to work from home. Right? That thing is going on right now. We'll talk about all those things right now. But weather-wise, dekhte hain kya ho raha hai. Weather-wise, if you look at today, is going to be a cooler day because we're going to have a high of only maximum 80. And Faltoni loves this weather. That's why she's dressed in this kind of a summery outfit. Very good, Faltoni.
Yes, it is kind of summery, Altu Baba.
No, it's
80
80 is
degrees,
nothing.
it's so
it was 88
hot.
yesterday.
To?
Today is 80, 10 degrees variation, Kavita. Sorry, Faltoni. Hey, right now, let's quickly jump into the news for our bandhus. Faltoni, are you ready with this news?
Yes, absolutely, Altu Baba.
And of course, here you go. This is the news for you guys. But for the news desk of Media Mahima.
President Biden says that he stands squarely behind the Afghanistan decision. Striking a defiant tone, President Joe Biden on Monday said that he stands squarely behind his decision to withdraw U.S. forces from Afghanistan as he acknowledged the gut-wrenching images coming out of the country after the swift Taliban takeover of the government. He also said he had to choose between sticking to a previously negotiated agreement to withdraw U.S. troops this year or sending thousands more service members into Afghanistan to fight a third decade of war. Now remember, this was a decision that Donald Trump, the previous president, had made where he had signed that people will be out of Afghanistan, we're going to pull out. He had signed that deal with the Taliban, if you remember.
Yeah.
So, Biden, who was sounding resolute in the face of withering criticism of his handling of the situation, said he chose not to send service members back into Afghanistan to fight a third decade of war. He said he chose that so as to not to repeat past mistakes. He reiterated that he had no regrets. I stand squarely behind my decision, the president told the nation in a televised address from the White House East Room after he flew back from the Camp David presidential retreat. After 20 years, I've learned the hard way that there was never ever a good time to withdraw U.S. forces.
Yeah, I think in fact even Gorbachev, the premier of Russia, right?
Yeah, former premier.
Former premier Russia, he actually said the fact that actually America going in itself was a big mistake because if you remember, America went in after USSR left the place, or rather Russia left the place.
Well, yeah, and that was again another Republican president's decision, right? Wasn't it under George W. that they went after, and then this got even worse now.
Yep.
Many disagree with Biden's decision and angered by the chaos the world witnessed over the weekend as the Taliban ultimately captured Kabul, the capital, and Afghan's president actually left the country. Biden said he'd rather take the criticism over the fallout than pass the decision of how and when to withdraw to a fifth U.S. president. He said the decision to leave Afghanistan is the right one for America because keeping a U.S. presence there was no longer a U.S. national security interest.
I totally agree.
Yeah, he did describe that the images coming out of Afghanistan, especially at the airport where Afghans descended in the hopes of fleeing the country, people were hanging off of airplanes and things like that. He said it was gut-wrenching. Video of Afghans clinging to the US Air Force plane and running alongside as it prepared to take off had circulated widely on the internet. But he did not admit any US fault in how the drawdown was executed.
Well, there are a lot of people actually proposing his decision. In fact, the Afghan community here in the Bay Area itself actually gave a voice out saying that they were not happy with what happened because their loved ones are stuck in Afghanistan right now trying to get back. I totally get it. But the thing is, hopefully, I'm sure there'll be some kind of because yesterday I think you shared the news about the fact that some of the Afghan leaders actually have spoken to American forces to see if they can actually negotiate a deal where they can actually get people out of Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
All that's going on right now.
Well, former US President George W. Bush, who launched a war on terror in Afghanistan, the guy who actually launched this whole thing on September 11th after that 2001 attacks, urged the US government to expedite help for Afghan refugees following the Taliban's swift takeover in recent days. The United States government has the legal authority to cut the red tape for refugees during urgent humanitarian crises. And we have the responsibility and the resources to secure safe passage for them now without bureaucratic delay, Bush and former First Lady Laura Bush said in a statement late on Monday.
But also it's very important to note one thing, Faldrani.
Yeah.
They cannot process anything over here until the embassy over there is operational. An embassy over there is not operational.
It's closed, yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Well, the other thing, yesterday I was listening to this really, and you talk about images that are gut-wrenching, Manajan, and there was somebody on the ground from Afghanistan on an interview with, I think, the Associated Press. They were actually talking, and this was airing on NPR. I was listening to it. He actually talks about how even the people who can get to the airport, and everything is closed, right? Flights are all closed now, inbound and outbound flights. Even the people who can get there are only people with a lot of resources.
Yeah.
People who have the money.
So-called middle class.
Yes, and there are so many poor people or people who don't have the resources who are struggling and who want to get out of there, for whom over these past 20 years they were talking about little girls who had started going to school and who are now young women who are used to having a certain amount of freedom are now dreading having to become brides of the Taliban fighters and things like that. So it's it's sometimes very disturbing to actually listen to think about the state of affairs over there. But what the Taliban has been issuing as a press statement, or in a press conference yesterday, they announced something. I'll share that with you during the World News section, but that was a little reassuring. Hopefully they will live up to their standards and are not going to bend the rules.
Yeah, but there also is one thing you should understand. Taliban lost the foothold because of their way of working at that time. Obviously they have changed, and there have been progressive people in both parties, like both sides. And let's hope for the best, and of course setting out prayers. That's all we can do right now, sitting miles away from them. And hopefully our leaders can actually provide some kind of reprieve for the people who are going to be coming here as refugees, right? Because USSR actually has already told them they're not going to take anywhere because they want Taliban to make sure they can actually form proper government. So if you look at it internationally, Russia has who actually have wonderful ties with Taliban have said they're not acknowledging the state until they have a government in place.
That's true.
Is that a nice way of actually doing it?
Yeah.
Okay, we're there with you, but you first get your act in order. So that's why I think probably they're creating this thing where they're going to have a government involving women also in the whole thing.
In fact, they held their I'm just going to go into it anyway. They held their first official news conference in Kabul yesterday since the shock seizure of the city, declaring that they wanted peaceful relations with other countries.
Yeah, there you go.
And they said they would respect the rights of women within the framework of Islamic law. We don't want any internal or external enemies, the movement's main spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid said. Mujahid said women would be allowed to work and study and will be very active in society, but within the framework of Islam.
So of course they will not be able to come on television. Is what they can't do television journalism. They can stick to radio journalism. What they're saying, if they're going to come on television, probably they have to have a abaya or something like that. Is what they probably are going to do, because exactly what happens in Saudi Arabia.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
The Taliban would not seek retribution against former soldiers or members of Western-backed government, he said, saying the movement was granting an amnesty to former Afghan government soldiers as well as contractors and translators who worked for international forces. Nobody is going to harm you. Nobody is going to knock on your doors, he said. He said private media could continue to be free and independent in Afghanistan, adding that the Taliban was committed to the media within its cultural framework. Mujahid's conciliatory tone contrasted sharply with comments by Afghan First Vice President Amrullah Saleh, who declared himself the legitimate caretaker president and vowed that he would not bow to Kabul's new rulers. The Taliban news conference came as the United States and Western allies evacuated diplomats and civilians the day after the scenes of chaos at Kabul airport as Afghans desperate to flee the Taliban thronged to the terminal.
Interesting. Of course, Banjan Taliban is making the news yesterday and today as well, so I don't know how long it'll stay there. But aage badho Fatrani, let's see what else is there internationally. Is that the only thing right now going on in our minds?
Well, in the United States, let's tell you, Banjan, our leaders are riding buses and trains and holding roundtable discussions this summer as they make the case that a government spending blitz backed by President Joe Biden is improving voters' lives ahead of the 2022 congressional elections. In New Jersey last week, Representative Tom Malinowski rode a train with Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg to highlight the benefits of a $1 trillion infrastructure package that he said would upgrade train service, roads and bridges and water pipes in the state. Along with the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which has passed the Senate and is pending in the House, Democrats are backing an even larger $3.5 trillion social policy measure. Events requiring vaccination proof can now opt out of masks, says Nevada governor. He says Steve Sisolak, who's the Nevada governor, said late on Monday that the large event operators will be allowed to opt out of the state's mask requirements if they can verify that their attendees are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. Those partially vaccinated and children could still attend provided they wear a mask, he said. The United States is going to be continuing Afghan evacuations over the coming weeks, said the Pentagon. And Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby said on Tuesday that Americans could again make their way to the Kabul airport. In a series of U.S. television interviews, Kirby said the U.S. military, including thousands of incoming troops, was squarely focused on airport operations and security. We remain committed to completing this drawdown in a safe and orderly way and to doing what we can to getting as many American citizens out, as well as many of our interpreters and translators who assisted U.S. forces, Kirby told MSNBC. Also, in other news, Pandajan, the United States is planning to begin administering COVID-19 booster shots in September. Apparently, the Biden administration has said that pending authorization from the US FDA, that booster shots for Americans can start as early or as mid or late September. And health officials in US President Joe Biden's administration gathered around the view that the most people should get a booster shot 8 months after they completed their initial vaccination, the source has said. According to the New York Times, which earlier reported on this development, officials are planning to announce the administration's decision as early as this week, with the first boosters likely to go to nursing home residents and healthcare workers, followed by other older people. Aldo Baba.
Yes.
8 months.
Yeah.
We got our shot in January. So
are we supposed to go back again?
I think they're saying that we need to get a booster now because it's 8 months since then.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? Why do you need a booster?
That's what they're saying.
Boost the secret of my energy, not the booster.
We'll know soon, Banajan. Anyway, in local news, Banajan, you remember that unfortunate and terrible VTA mass shooting that happened?
Yeah.
Well, a VTA employee who was in one of the buildings during the mass shooting at a San Jose VTA rail yard in May has died, the agency confirmed Tuesday in a statement. Henry Gonzalez was a veteran paint and body worker at the Guadalupe Light Rail Yard north of downtown San Jose, the VTA said. That yard on the morning of May 26 was where A VTA worker was shot and killed 9 fellow employees before taking his own life. The VTA said Gonzalez's cause of death is under investigation, and the San Jose Police Department on Tuesday has not yet confirmed the cause, though it did not rule out foul play because he was an eyewitness to the incident apparently.
Yeah.
A fire weather watch is being issued for the North Bay and East Bay Hills due to dry, windy conditions, Manajan. The National Weather Service has issued a fire weather watch for interior North Bay and East Bay Hills beginning at 11 p.m. Tonight and lasting between 12 to 36 hours. According to a news release that was issued yesterday, the increased likelihood of fire comes from gusty winds that will peak Tuesday night, drying vegetation that could fuel the rapid spread of any fire that sparks. North to northeast winds are expected at 15 to 25 miles per hour, with gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour, along with gusts of up to 50 miles per hour over the highest peaks.
Well, but I'll tell you what, the weather actually has to be of concern for everybody, because right now the climate change has affected many things. It's going to soon affect our our daily lives also. You know why? It's impacting farmers.
That's right.
And when I say impacting farmers, Banja, I'm not kidding. The almond growers of California, right? They are the worst hit right now. Did you know that? Oh,
No.
the weather is really playing havoc on them. Unfortunately, they are the ones who were able to actually reduce their carbon footprint by reducing the water consumption by 30%.
Wow.
Yeah, and yielding good crops. But the thing is now, the weather is so bad, even their crops are actually suffering right now.
Wow.
So, I don't know how we got to do this. We got to be very mindful about how we use water and what we got to do with that, Banajan. So, you got to keep an eye on that for sure. And Banajan, quickly, let's go to one thing. Fadoni, how about before you go to other parts of the news?
Let's do a Gane Ka Kida.
Let's quickly jump into Gane Kira for Abadu Shadia. Fadoni also can wet her throat for some time and come back and talk to you more about the news, Banajan. She's looking for water around her. She doesn't have it. For this song, Banajan, for the movie New York. Hey, Junoon, have the passion. That's very important, Banajan. What you gotta do passionately does not matter, as long as you have passion with you. To do something, kuch karo. Come on, let's kuch kare.
यारों जी भर के झीले पल लगता है आजकल दौर अपना आएगा.
Lyrics by Sandeep Srivastava, music by Pritam, and the voice of course Banajan, KK.
तो जिंदगी हंसी तुझे कल बुलाएगा. यारों जी भर के झीले पल लगता है आजकल दौर अपना आएगा. यारों जो खुद पे हो यकीन तो जिंदगी हंसी तुझे कल बुलाएगा. है जुनून.
That's right, Banajan. अपने आप पे यकीन कीजिएगा. अगर आपको अपने आप पे यकीन है तो हमें कॉल कीजिएगा. हम आपके ऊपर यकीन रखते हैं कि आप हमें कॉल करेंगे. 408912247 Banajan. Yes, यकीन लाएंगे आपको कि आपके ऊपर भी अपने आप को यकीन होनी चाहिए. And yes, have the passion.
है जुनून सा सीने में.
You know, this song reminds me of one song of Sukhwinder Paji. You know which song?
Which one?
Kuch kariye, kuch kariye, kuch kariye. That song from...
You mean in terms of lyrics or the sentiment?
Sentiment.
It's definitely not.
Sentiment.
Yeah.
Because that song Kuch Kariye is from the movie called Chak De India, where he wants them to have...
The India.
Huh?
Chak De India.
For Chak De India. ओए तू गलत बात करी है तू मेरे बारे में. एंड ऑफ कोर्स Banajan, ये हमारी फालतूनी भी तैयार हो गई है. अपने फोन पकड़ के क्या कर रही है, हमने मैसेज करिए सभी दुनिया को. एंड ऑफ कोर्स Banajan, that was a Gane Kida which I played for you, and now we're going to jump back into the news. Faltwani,
Right.
are you going to cover the world news right now?
Yes, Altu Baba.
Hey, hello, Sri Tappa Biswas from Chicago. Hi, welcome. Hello to you too.
Sri
And-
Tappa.
Yes, and of course, hello to Vishal ji also. Namaste, Vibha ji. Namaste, कैसे हैं आप? And Deepak ji, आपको तो of course good morning. हमने already बोल दिया था Facebook पे. And everybody joining us on Facebook, thank you so much. We actually available for you guys for listening 24/7 on our app, which you can download for free on Android and also iOS. Banajan, that's Radio Day Hotties.
That is absolutely right, Banajan. Now it's time for us to be heading into the world news, Banajan. Really quick news blurbs coming out to you from the Radio Dihadi studios right here in the Silicon Valley. We need food. heavy rains lash Haiti quake survivors. As we know, over the weekend there was this horrendous 7.2 magnitude earthquake that hit Haiti, which is already struggling with, after the president was assassinated, and there's a lot of political turmoil and instability in the country. But flooding due to a storm overnight complicated efforts on Tuesday to seek survivors from the weekend earthquake in Haiti that killed more than 1,400 people, and provide aid and relief to hundreds of thousands left struggling for food, water, and shelter. There's no clean water there for them as well, Banjan. The quake brought down tens of thousands of buildings in the poorest country in the Americas, which is still recovering from a temblor 11 years ago that killed about 200,000 people. And countless Haitian families who have lost everything due to the earthquake are now literally living with their feet in the water due to the flooding, said Bruno Mays, the United Nations Children's Fund representative in Haiti. Right now, about 500,000 Haitian children have limited or no access to shelter, safe water, health care, and nutrition. By Tuesday morning, only a light rain was falling over Les Cayes, the southern coastal city that bore the brunt of Saturday's 7.2 magnitude quake after Tropical Storm Grace had unleashed torrential rains and floods in at least one other region. China is now holding assault drills near Taiwan after provocations, apparently. China carried out these assault drills near Taiwan on Tuesday with warships and fighter jets exercising off the southwest and the southeast of the island in what the country's armed forces said was a response to external interferences and provocations. Taiwan, which Beijing claims as a Chinese territory, has complained of repeated People's Liberation Army drills in its vicinity in the past 2 years or so, part of a pressure campaign to force the island to accept China's sovereignty.
Speaking of campaigns China's running, do you know what they're doing right now because of the Taliban thing? They are spin doctors, man, seriously.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is America was trying to help Afghans, but they're not doing anything. Exactly what's happening in Taiwan. Taiwan's actually, the uprising in Taiwan is in the hope that America is going to support them. So they're trying to say, America doesn't support Afghans, how will they support you?
Oh my God.
Yeah, all that is going on. And the worst part is, China and Taliban also have a working relationship.
What?
Yes, and and they share a border. They share a small border between each other, right? So the point is that particular thing can also create the political unrest in Afghanistan can affect China for sure, the relationships, and also understand that China already has a bad view for treating their Muslims, the Uyghur Muslims, right? So there also has been a scare that probably they might be pilfering of the Uyghurs into Taliban to get trained in terrorism and come back and become terrorists in China. So China also living in fear. Everybody's living in fear nowadays. My goodness.
And for those of you just watching our broadcast on Facebook and who are watching our video right now, Banajan, let me tell you that voice is the voice of our Altu Baba. If you're just joining us, this is Good Morning Bay, and that was something that we call the Altu Baba conspiracy theory right here, right? Or is it actual news, Altu Baba?
Well, Faltoni, if you really want to know what this thing is, Banajan, this is me.
Yes.
And I am the inner voice right now, Banajan.
No, it's not. He's not my inner voice. He's not. That's so not fair. Please don't do that. That's not my inner voice, Banajan. That's the Altu Baba conspiracy theory.
Whatever.
Anyway, let's tell you that in a brief statement, the PLA, the People's Liberation Army's Eastern Theatre Command, said warships, anti-submarine aircraft and fighter jets had been dispatched close to Taiwan to carry out joint fire assault and other drills using actual troops. In New Zealand, one single suspected Delta case was reported. And guess what?
What?
New Zealand has gone into lockdown.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah. Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern put New Zealand under strict lockdown on Tuesday after the country's first coronavirus case in 6 months was reported in the largest city of Auckland. Ardern's go hard and go early strategy has helped curb COVID-19, but her announcement...
go hard, go early or stay home.
Yeah, but her announcement left people struggling to stack up essentials, businesses shutting abruptly, and schools and offices making last-minute changes to go online.
Yeah, Best Buy, you know what they should learn? You cannot beat nature. No matter how much you try. Either you go with the flow, try to be, humble, not like, I got to beat you right now, go and lockdown all over again. Probably it might have. See, even in spite of having lockdown there, they had this situation coming up to them, right?
Yeah,
the
but
variant did show up at their doorstep.
But they were the first ones to eliminate it in the.
They did eliminate.
Yeah.
If they eliminated it, it wouldn't have come back to them.
Well, at least they're taking decisive action, Altu Baba, not like this one.
Yeah, it
No
wasn't as
masking and this and that, and the surge that we're seeing right now is again, it's turning out to be scary. The Delta Plus variants here in the United States. But let's go on and talk about who else. Germany, Czechoslovakia, different countries are now slamming and are really worried about the situation in Afghanistan. Czech President Milos Zeman said NATO had failed in Afghanistan and its legitimacy was now in question. As he called for his country to focus on national defense rather than wasting money on the alliance.
Yes.
The Czech Republic has pledged to raise its defense spending to 2% of gross domestic product, the NATO target level by 2024, but the government said in June that this deadline would not be met due to the economic crisis that they have encountered after the coronavirus pandemic.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Faltan, if you want to look at me, go look on the other side. There you go.
What?
I'm just testing the different.
Let's also tell you, Barijat, that in the Afghanistan crisis, India evacuated its diplomats and officials from Kabul, and how they were brought back to India was in a heavy lift military transport aircraft in the wake of the deteriorating security situation in the Afghan capital 2 days after its takeover by the Taliban. Indian Air Force aircrafts took off for India in the morning from the Kabul airport with over 120 people, including Indian Ambassador Rudrendra Tandon and other officials and security personnel from the embassy. Some Indian nationals have also learnt to have come back on this particular aircraft, apparently. The C-17 aircraft of the IAF landed at Jamnagar in Gujarat at around 11:15 a.m. and en route to the Hindon Air Base near the nation's capital. Also, Vanajan, for those of the people in Afghanistan who supposedly, supported the different government and, used to speak up against oppression and all that stuff, now they are desperately struggling to actually wipe any kind of their social media history and wipe out their footprint online, their digital footprint.
Who?
Everybody who's been in Afghanistan, all the Afghans are scrambling to delete digital history and even evade biometrics at this particular point in time.
Wow.
Yeah. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday chaired a meeting of the Cabinet Committee on Security against the backdrop of the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan. The Cabinet Committee on Security is the apex government body that deals with issues of national security. Home Minister Amit Shah, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman attended the meeting besides senior officials. While official sources confirmed the meeting, there was no word on what exactly transpired there. And Facebook has banned Taliban and says that it is going to block all WhatsApp accounts linked to that particular group as well.
Oh, that means more opportunity of WeChat, huh?
I don't know, whatever. There's another one, right? What was a Parler? I don't know if they'll download that.
That did actually live at all. I thought it died a natural death, right?
But apparently, for years, the Taliban has actually used social media to get its message across. And they've been sanctioned now as a terrorist organization under US law, and we have banned them from our services under our dangerous organization policies. This means we remove accounts maintained by or on behalf of the Taliban and prohibit praise, support and representation of them, a Facebook spokesperson has told.
But one thing you should also understand the fact that Taliban also, you should understand how they are funded.
Yeah. How are they funded, Altu Baba?
They are funded by crowdsourcing, Fatwani.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not like they don't have an organization. It's not an organization. It's not a family.
Yeah.
It's not a government to be able to tax its people.
Correct.
Right. It actually is a political a group, as I told you.
Huh.
And of course, people subscribe like Democrats and Republicans.
Right.
How do they get the funding? From the local people.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
but Taliban is international.
Oh wow.
So international people are sending money to the Taliban. So how do you cut that thing off?
How?
I'm not going to say it, but it'll become a solution to
To international.
I don't want that to be a. I want Afghanistan to be in peace.
Well,
I would love to visit the place sometime.
here is what has happened. Do you know how it quickly fell? How quickly Afghanistan.
It was not quickly for us. Quickly, it has been going on. It was meticulous planning on behalf of Taliban to do it, right?
Yeah. So you know how they say that the locals didn't fight.
It was known, right?
The locals didn't fight the folks.
Yeah.
They actually went ahead and they, these guys went and they took out the main opposition leaders there.
Yeah.
They actually executed. The Taliban fighters would go and then they said, okay, the rest of you, if you want to comply, you want to bow down and accept us, then it's up to you. We'll ensure your safety.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're done.
Again, she talks like the Western media, but they wouldn't have said bow down. They would definitely said drop your arms and join us is what they would have said.
Well, that's
or
what happened.
Marry your girls to us.
So apparently, none of the the people just started buckling. They got tired after so many years of this non-stop back and forth. Apparently, they're just weary. I mean, the people of Afghanistan are weary of everything that's been going on, and they didn't have the energy or the strength to fight back. It seems.
So everybody, I know. I was in the Middle East when all these things. I think 2002, 2000. Yeah, 2004, 2007, pretty much I was there in the Middle East, right? And that was actually on the heels of when they took over the place. Remember George W. Bush actually said, let's go take over this place because they're the ones who actually created.
Right.
So there's a lot of talk about the fact that there was, like for instance, Saddam Hussein was a big mistake in the 90s, you remember?
Yeah.
One of the biggest mistakes they did. Because Saddam Hussein brought peace to the land actually.
Well,
when they had
wasn't Saddam also assassinated technically by
the earlier Bush, right? Because of the weapons of mass destruction.
That was the second Bush, not the first.
Second Bush, yes, that's the time.
Yeah.
And then, okay. Anyway, the conspiracy goes on deeper, Balajan. If you go read up on some of these informations, you will know it was a very sad thing what happened with Saddam also. Yeah.
Altu Baba.
Yeah.
Kya baat kar raha hai?
I'm not
There's nothing like that.
No, prosecuted by your own the laws which you wrote yourself.
Which is fine if you're not above your law.
That's true. That kind of is a message out there that nobody's above the law.
Yeah.
And please, this is a message for Trump also.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody's above the law.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what we have for you on the news today.
That's all?
Yeah.
You're not going to talk about the Sudoku creator?
No. What?
Maki Kaji?
What happened?
Well, you know Sudoku, right?
Yeah.
Sudoku, right? He's one of the creators of all the puzzles that people love, enjoy. Kids love to play those things.
Right.
Unfortunately, he died. So it's a very somber note today, and of course, people who actually are Sudoku fans will know this. And of course, our prayer going out to him, rest in peace. And he gave us a lot of opportunities to have fun. All the games you listen, you watch, play online. Somehow they're inspired by these kind of people who created those puzzles. He was a puzzle creator kind of a thing,
Correct.
That was nice. But anyway, may his soul rest in peace, Valjan. Of course, one more thing. There are many more things you can actually catch up on mediamahima.com. That's what you got to do.
That's right, Banajan. And that's all we have time for on this morning's Good Morning Wave. We'll be back tonight live at 5 on the Pam Pam Show. Have yourselves a terrific Tuesday. Maza aa raha hai na? Great music, Banajan, for the best in entertainment and the best in music and the hottest tracks ever. You